Hello folks, Gets here. Today we're going to be doing another Transformers video review. We're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Bumblebee. This of course being the third version of Bumblebee that's been out. You got the New York City Comic Con, the taxi cab version, the first edition, and then this. And while I'm doing the regular Bumblebee, might as well take a look at the Shadow Strike, who is just a repaint of the regular Bumblebee. Just a little story. According to the back of the box of Shadow Strike here, Ratchet designed a set of armor for him that pretty much helped him be more stealthy at night, which makes a good bit of sense. You don't want to be bright and yellow and walking around at night. You probably wouldn't be a very good scout if you did that. So he made this this suit for him, and it never appeared in the show, which was disappointing because the figure looks pretty nice. But we'll talk more about him a little bit later. The paint is really nice on him, but we'll go into more of that later. We'll talk about the regular Bumblebee for now. I do have a lot of mixed feelings about this figure, and the biggest downfall is there's just a much better version of him available. The car mode is very nice. It is a little bit smaller than the first edition Bumblebee. I don't have mine here in car mode. I have him in robot. I'll do a robot comparison, but he's just a little bit bigger than this version is. But all around they're pretty much the same. There's some slight differences here in the windshield, but that's about it. And the first edition has an Autobot logo. I can't remember where exactly it's at in the car mode, but I believe it's somewhere around here in the hood or somewhere around there. But nonetheless, it's still a good figure. He does come with his two cannons, which is a positive. The first edition only came with one cannon, so this one coming with two is pretty nice. And you just stick them up there, and that actually doesn't look too bad. I'm usually not very big on putting the weapons into vehicle modes, but for Bumblebee it kind of works, and you can kind of imagine if they did that. So, an all-around good figure. I think a couple of extra paint details would look pretty nice. Maybe some rim paint, just to kind of make them a little bit more show accurate. But let's get to the transformation. And speaking of the transformation, it is incredibly easy, arguably the easiest that I own. And just a little heads up, I've said it in a couple of my other videos that I consider easy transformations a negative now. When I was younger and I would collect these, I hated hard transformations. I couldn't stand them. They annoyed me, and I would end up just leaving my figures in whatever mode that I thought looked the coolest, and I would leave them there for months and months and months and just never transform them. And now that I'm older, I really like the challenge. I think it's good. I don't really know the words to describe it, but I like the challenge of the puzzle of trying to figure it out. I don't like to use instructions. I like to figure it out myself. So this, great for kids. It's very, very simple, but maybe not for the serious collector that wants a little bit of a challenge. But let's go ahead and get started. You just grab the back and fold the legs down, and there you go. There's the legs. Go ahead and unhook the doors and take the roof out. Fold this. I don't know if I got that in shot, but the back of the roof here, just fold it. Fold the arms down. Excuse me. And fold the roof back. And this is a pretty cool little gimmick. You just grab the shoulders here, the front tires, and fold them back, and there's his head. And that is pretty cool. That's like the new revealer action for the Transformers Prime figures. You straighten out these wings back here. You can kind of set them so they look a little bit more like they did in the show. But there you go. There you have Bumblebee transformed in his robot mode. And like I was saying earlier, the biggest gripe with this figure has to be that there's just a much better version of him, and that would be the first edition. Let me bring him in. And here we have the first edition, and as you can see, just the first edition is just miles ahead of this one. You got so much more paint apps. You got the nice orange right here. And on front, you got a great big Autobot logo where I can't find the one on the second edition. He's got a better scale. He's much taller. He looks nicer. And probably the biggest downfall for the second edition here are the shoulders. These shoulders are perfect. They're up high, up on his chest. They look nice. And these, you can see they're sucking down into his chest, and it just doesn't look quite right. There's something off about it. And you know, you take his guns here, and this is pretty nice. Like I was saying, the first edition only came with one gun. This one comes with two, so that is a positive. You just snap it on here, and so that's kind of cool. So you know, you can get some pretty. I mean, you know, I guess you could get some pretty cool poses out of him. Excuse me again. I'm sorry. I'm getting over a cold. But you know, my feelings are so all over the place with this figure. Because I've got the first edition, I just tend to leave this one in vehicle mode, as I do with most of the ones that I have a first edition figure of. But let's go and talk articulation. His head looks left and right, a little bit up and down, not very much. But because of the whole mechanism here, you don't get a whole lot of movement left and right. The arms are full 360, nothing back and forth though. It bends at the elbow, and no wrist articulation. So, you know, that's a bummer. But luckily, he doesn't need his hands to hold his weapon. He does go forward and back at the hip, bends at the knees, and does have some nice foot articulation. So, you know, like I said, you can get some pretty cool bendy. He can balance in some pretty cool, you know, I don't much care for that pose, but he can do some alright stuff. Let me go ahead and bring in Shadow Strike. Alright, and here is a Shadow Strike transformed in Robo mode, and as you can see, big difference, big paint difference. This one's all gray, this one's yellow, of course. In my opinion, this one looks, I love this paint scheme for him. I think it really works. Again, I wish they had put this in the cartoon show, because I think it would have made a really cool episode. You know, if Ratchet can build Agent Fowler a plane where he doesn't require a suit, why can't he put Bumblebee in a... If they can make Apex armor, why can't they make a stealth armor, you know? But this looks great. I don't know if it's just my figure or if it's all of them, but this one just feels like a much better quality than the regular. The plastic feels... I don't even know how to describe it. It just looks like it's better made. The head sculpt on him is much better. The head, the paint job on it, you got this dark gray on the outside, light gray, and then this yellow on top. And with Bumblebee, with the regular, all you have is this yellow all around and some gray inside. You know, that's it. So this one's a little bland. This one, Shadow Strike, is really nice. I do recommend him highly. Just a great figure to put on the shelf. I tend to still leave mine in vehicle mode, though. If they had him in an episode, I'd probably display him. I could put him with somebody, but he wasn't in any episode, so I tend to just leave him around with the random pile. So, still a very good figure. He comes with blasters too, except his are yellow. You don't want to have gray on gray. That would not look right. So he's got two blasters, but yellow instead. So we'll go ahead and set him aside, and we'll go ahead and transform Bumblebee back into vehicle mode. Still very, very easy. All you do is take the shoulders, move this up, and take the shoulders, put them up forward. Take the hood, go ahead and pull that out and accordion it up to the top. You want to combine his feet down here at the bottom and just kind of accordion them, and it latches up here in the top glass. You see some pegs in here. I don't know if you can or not, but there's pegs right here, and your peg holes right here. Go ahead and combine them, and then you go ahead and close his doors and push his arms straight up, and we're done, folks. I mean, that's just how easy it is. I think I timed myself once, and I could get him transformed in about 15 seconds, which is way too fast. You should not be able to do one of these in 15 seconds. I feel like the the old commercials for Transformers and Beast Wars. You know, you'd see the kids just, and they're done. You know, it made them feel like they just happened instantaneously. But still a good figure. Like I said, you know, if you missed out on the first edition, go ahead and pick him up. You know, again, I highly recommend the Shadow Strike. He's a good looking figure. This has been Armageddon with another video review. Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Bumblebee and Shadow Strike Bumblebee, just the repaint. Thanks for watching.